All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Parasyte the Maxim, episode 5. All right. Okay. So the parents have gone on a trip.
Probably never to return.
I mean, let's some okay. Hope. Some semblance of hope.
I mean, I was hopeful too until they did that weird, like, camera, zoom thing. Yeah.
Like the taxi driver you were thinking was going to be Tamiya Ryoko and stuff. And it's like,
I'm just thinking that as far as we're concerned, Shinichi's never going to see them again. Not alive anyways.
Okay. I want this story to go for a much longer period of time, and I think then the parents dying now just doesn't feel like there's any real reason for it.
Yeah.
I think if anything, it would be cool to have them have a little bit of a safety net, because if there's going to be chaos brought upon the city because Tamiya Ryoko is no longer Tamiya Ryoko, and she's going to fulfill the primary directive, which is destroy this species.
Right.
They're no longer in the the blast zone, essentially, for...
Hopefully.
Yeah. Who knows, really, whether or not that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
But she's pregnant.
Yes, she is.
With a human baby.
And she has stated that she would simply dispose of the baby.
But
there's some visual elements that they'd call that in question a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and then Shinichi also needs to maybe talk with Murano to see how things are going there.
Yeah, because she was absent in the last episode.
Yep.
And then Migi had learned how to transform into a gun.
Right.
Which was a little bit like, oh!
Yeah. Hopefully Migi can't actually fire bullets, because that would... But, well, actually, no, that's a good point.
No, he probably can...
No, Migi can't... Well, and Migi can separate itself from Shinichi for up to 3 minutes, so yeah, it could turn itself into tiny little bullets and then bring them back. Because how would it actually like project something separate from itself, like that? But
I was just thinking that it would actually expend its own tissue as a resource, essentially, and then just need more food, later.
That'd be terrifying.
I think that the idea of Migi actually growing even bigger might even be a thing later in the future.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Hey, just like his mom, I'm dead inside. Because, I was thinking, you know what? This will be a perfect opportunity to see the parents and get some actual characterization for them so that we can see them as more than just who they are. But no, sudden backstory of a side character equals horrible, tragic death.
Yeah.
And you're right. You are
so here's
so right. They even used it. They used it.
Yeah, with the phone call.
With the phone call and the bleeding out dead and everything, and telling the secret.
Well, and also with the whole thing of you can't bring yourself to attack, this person, right?
Yeah.
So that also makes you get pierced through the chest. So
actually, like FMAB referenced this.
Yeah,
this came way before.
Shinichi's in a bit of a pickle right here, I would say.
I think he's in a bit of a
shot through the heart, and you're to blame now, and you give love a bad name. But yeah, so Migi will have his work cut out for him, or its work cut out for it, with saving Shinichi here, because even if he manages to kill the other parasite, Shinichi's been stabbed. He's been impaled.
Okay. The only thing I'm thinking about here right now is the fact that they did all this other stuff with the students.
Yes.
And how it seemingly doesn't connect perfectly into the whole plot of the parents in this whole thing here.
Right.
So it's like there's two kind of plots moving along parallel with each other.
And they've kind of done that in previous episodes with having like two different things that happen of import each episode.
But what if that's the thing? Is that Kana is now like watching him. So the mom coming back and the way she looked, or maybe there was like some blood on her or something.
Sure.
Kana is so with, apparently with Jotaro level passive perception, basically goes, something's wrong here, and sends for help like immediately, and so he like has a punctured lung or something, but it's not
he gets
a heart
taken to the
wound.
hospital, whatever, and that could totally work. But
there's got to be some shenanigans, otherwise he's dead.
Yeah,
He's just dead.
also the fact that they established the question that had been introduced earlier of is relocation possible, especially with the head.
Yep.
That information is probably going to be made aware to Migi at some point, whether it's through actually it being said or through deduction of basically, wait a minute, your mom was killed by your mom and dad were killed by something, but now your mom is a parasite. She wasn't a parasite before.
Yep.
Ergo relocation.
Yes. Which means maybe that will be their way of actually surviving this encounter. Here's a crazy thought, Jacob. Yeah. Here's a crazy thought.
Okay.
They are bleeding out. Migi essentially and Shinichi.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically the thing of like, oh, your body isn't perfectly in line with yours, is it? Maybe there's going to be some aspect of rejection there, and it's like, join us.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We'll give you a host and a way to stay, and you can basically repair the parts there or something. Or maybe that'll be the thing. In the fight, Migi will bring it down to a, fine, I'll take you down with me. Tears apart the body, but is basically like, if you join us, I can show you how to attach to a part of this boy.
But no, because it's already at the head. Because relocation is one thing, but changing the part of the body is another.
I don't see a way out of this then.
Yeah,
I just don't. And we can't kill off the main character in episode 6.
We can't kill off the main character, so this is episode 5.
I know, but I mean the next episode. He's not dead here yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the next episode.
Yeah. So what we could do, what I think is going to happen, is that at this point, Migi will basically just sort of assume direct control, kind of, and just kill the mom, which will strain the relationship between Migi and Shinichi, absolutely, even though the mom was clearly a parasite and already stabbed him.
Yeah, I think...
And then from that, then Shinichi can be taken to a hospital. Migi will pretend to be a regular right hand, and then it'll all be okay.
Yeah, they're just going to have to be some hospital shenanigans.
Right, and they're going to do time skips eventually anyways, because we know that Shinichi ends up being grown up. So,
Here's a thought.
What
if Migi basically, after the blade part is removed, like maybe Migi chops off the part there, leaves that in there as a way to basically seal the wound. Okay. But then once they end up getting to the hospital stuff, they need to take it out so it doesn't look like that. Migi, like, detaches a bit of himself and puts him...
Oh, to, like, staunch the bleeding or something?
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing. All right. They talked about not being able to replicate organs and things like that. But if it didn't hit anything vital, there's the possibility that Migi could separate a certain part of themselves that is specifically just general tissue.
Yeah.
And repair, basically patch up the wound. Yeah, exactly. Which would be kind of crazy, but given that, like, if faced with extinction, every alternative is preferable. If it's something where they're going to die otherwise, I could see Migi taking the chance with that.
What level of desperation will he do
exactly.
will he take in order to survive here? Also, the whole altruism thing, maybe, that's what the theme is going to be.
Sure.
Is that Shinichi is going to have to sacrifice... Migi is going to have to sacrifice a lot of his survival potential in order to save Shinichi. But that also then ties it back into the thing of you need Migi, you need Shinichi to survive in order for Migi to survive.
But we did get the altruism thing with the other girl,
Kana.
Yes. Kana. Yeah. Because it almost seemed like she might have been the one that brought the people there. Like maybe.
I think she did. I think
but
you're
she
right.
had a feeling that was going to happen, so she basically found a way to contact them somehow. Details we don't need to have it
not
explained.
Important, really.
But now it's possible that she didn't and she just knew they were doing that, but I would not be surprised if she brought them there.
That whole scene, the kind of the progression of things of let's take the classic school bullies.
Right.
And let's use them as a way to have commentary on the aspect of human beings and where we prey upon the weak of our own species, basically. That's a very animalistic type thing. Well, like chickens isolating the weak one of the group and pecking them to death.
And that's more of like a social pecking order, literally in that sense. But in this case, it's more of a thing of like that people don't pick fights that they can't win usually.
That too.
Usually.
Yes.
So in this case, they had a reason they wanted to defend Shinichi, and they were clearly capable of doing so because they outnumber them 4-1.
Oh, right. That's in the second encounter. Right. In the first encounter, they were fine with doing this because Nagai was only one person.
Right.
So they went after him and they were fine with it. And that's, like you're saying, might makes right. And then in this case, it's the next thing again, where because they had 20 to their 4, it's, you know, same situation.
Also, the whole thing, and I was much more excited to see this part of the exploration and commentary than the stuff with the people that came to save him. I love that as a resolution, but I really liked the idea of him being like, I want to see if I can resolve this without resorting to Migi, because Migi will kill them.
Yes.
You know, like, or maim them or something, and not just for my own safety of like wanting to stay blending in, but like, you know, Migi brings out the Wolverine claws, and it's like,
if you don't stop, I'll... And then Migi's like, oh, it's my time. And it's like, no, not that.
You know, but then the thing is that Murano was in danger, right? You know, and so it's a thing of like, well, what are you gonna do? That's a real head scratcher. Like,
yeah. And then Murano and him had this sweet little like time at their place and stuff. And Murano's like, no, I'm not gonna stay over. I'll see you tomorrow though. But it's like, oh, that's their little starts of being like the it's like, damn it, I thought I was gonna see intercourse, human intercourse. And the way like Shinichi was just like, just go to sleep. Just he's like, I'm done with your shit.
Yeah, like no facial expression change. Yeah. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. I loved it so much.
That was a great bit.
And then your comment when Kana showed up, and it's like, oh, maybe I still.
Mickey's like, ooh, maybe I'll get.
Oh boy,
maybe I'll get another chance here.
But and the whole thing of Kana looking into his eyes and then seeing something there.
Okay, I have a theory.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah. So with animals specifically. Like specifically with animals, there's a rule. I'm just going to take dogs, for instance. Whenever dogs see you make direct eye contact with them, direct eye contact, and you maintain eye contact for an extended period of time, one of the things that is very common, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Making eye contact with someone is a sign of connection. Now, depending on how long the eye contact goes, it goes from being, oh, you acknowledged me, to, oh, maybe there's some special connection there.
Right, some beyond just the regular,
And then it goes into aggression. After you've been staring into the eyes of someone for too long, you feel vulnerable. There's some aspect
because there's the idea of I'm seeing into their soul, kind of the thing, the window to the soul. But then also, wait, they're seeing into me. They're not looking away. I'm not. Yeah.
It's basically on the animal level. It's a test of dominance.
Right. It's the Galadriel thing from Lord of the Rings, where she looks at all of them, and eventually they all sort of look.
They all have to look away because Galadriel carries within her this power. Now, dogs. I learned this the hard way. I'm going to tell you a little story here. So when I was around 10 years old, I got down on eye level, like on my knees with this dog, and I was petting its head and stuff, but I was looking directly into its eyes, being like, oh, aren't you an adorable doggy? And this was like an Airedale Terrier or something, so it's a pretty big dog, but it's not like a Rottweiler, like big, muscly dog. But it kind of had this moment of like, it kind of like backed up away from me, and then it went, ugh. So there were two steps. It backed up away, and then it like low growled, like it didn't like this, like it was feeling afraid. And when I didn't break eye contact with it, it snapped at my nose. Now, it didn't bite with like I'm going to kill you, but it was like, back up, like stop doing that. What I ended up learning from my friend's dad after that, because he was like, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Did the dog do anything to you? Because we might have to like, do something about the dog. And then I told him what I did, and he's like, okay, I'm going to teach you something here. The dog felt threatened like you were going to attack it. I'm like, but I love the dog. It's like, no, but that's the thing.
Right.
It can obviously tell that you had like good intentions at the beginning, but your body language was showcasing something different than what you were feeling, obviously. So with Migi and Shinichi in this combo here, Shinichi was asking, like, have I been changing? Has there something about me, like, on a physical level that's changing? They're like, I don't know anything about that. But there's obviously probably some psychological changes.
Sure.
Okay.
Which is normal because now he has this right hand that can kill things, you know.
Yes.
So, like, at the very least, he wouldn't be scared in a lot of situations, as established with the bullies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then when she makes eye contact with him, there's this added bit of confidence, this added bit of him feeling more, maybe a little bit more dominant in terms of his role within the human species
because
and stuff.
in some ways he doesn't consider himself to be a human anymore, because, or at least because there's that part of him that isn't human, and that changes things.
And they showed those little like red lights or something
Yeah,
like that, which I think they're basically saying there is a slight physical change that is happening. And regardless of whether or not she consciously noticed that, the subconscious animal part of her recognized that he was basically displaying too much dominance in a way that slightly unnerved her. Like, it wasn't that he was intending to say, I have a feeling of aggression towards you and I will attack you, but his body language,
right, that uncanny valley kind of a thing where it's like something's off here. And again, shown when
they shook hands.
When they shook hands, yeah.
Right. And that aspect is so fascinating to me, because that's something that I don't think other stories tackle, because it gets too much at the I don't know, at
it's
the...
right, because it's something that's so hard to define.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really more something that can just be explored. And in the case here, earlier on, I was kind of like a little bit put off by it. Like, well, this seems kind of like out of the blue. Like, okay, you know, how are they having this determination? But the idea that they're connected, Migi and Shinichi, where does the connection stop? You know,
right?
Like there's feedback. So you know,
there is an exchange of something going on here,
exactly.
And the more that exchange happens, the longer the duration of it occurs. There will be changes in Shinichi that are noticeable more and more by observant people.
Right. Just the fact that the brain is the one sending the signals and you know, receiving feedback.
Right.
You know, which signals, you know, again, and the fact that it's running on the same blood and everything like that. It's not like there's some barrier where past this point it's all Shinichi, and then past that point it's all Migi.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be something a little bit more defined with regards to how much Migi can directly control on a conscious level.
Yeah,
and
in the same way that the right arm wouldn't be able to control your thoughts, right?
Yes.
But the idea that
there's nerve endings,
but
there's
nerve
fluid,
endings. The right arm can send pain signals and the like. You know, it can do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I am fascinated by the idea in that this is not something where Kana has some ESP or something like that, or she's a very specific type of parasite, but it's just that there are people that have on a subconscious level, a little bit more in touch with their subconscious perceptions.
Yeah.
And she basically sensed something off about Shinichi, and it gave her a check. And this is an anime. This has something that is a visual audio medium, so they needed to show some kind of way that there is something different happening with him on like a physiological, biological level. And she senses it on some kind of subconscious level that makes her either afraid, nervous, go, you're not normal, or like also on a biological level. Like I'm not just saying this because of kind of the general kind of lens of having this main character guy, and then she's a girl or something, that it has to be there's going to be some kind of romantic attraction.
But I definitely get that there, because she has definitely taken an interest in him, right? Whether you want to say it's romantic or just this is something that's weird. I want to figure out what's going on.
Humans are curious.
Exactly.
We want to understand what we don't understand.
Yeah.
So that was just a thing they threw in there.
Right.
And do you like my interpretation with regards to the body language disconnect with the whole dog story I shared?
Yeah. I think that's...
Or is there some other thing you want to add to that?
I think that's more or less what it is, whether it's something that's specifically because it was seen as, you know, a challenge of some sort, or just that, like, the subconscious, like that's what I think it boils down to, is that there's some kind of, and of course it consciously registers to some degree, but she doesn't fully understand maybe what it is that's registering, and that's why she's so curious, right? Hence the whole thing of, you know, backing away and all that stuff, but the idea that it's something where And it could just be the psychological implications, right? She's not actually seeing anything different, but it's just that she notices, wait, there's that uncanny valley aspect of this guy's doing stuff that most people don't do.
Mm-hmm.
And
so she's already now looking for the abnormal.
Right, exactly. And there seems to be a reasoning behind it. It's not just like he's not as scared as he should be, or rather, maybe he's scared for them, not about himself. Right? Sure. Like because that's something that I would expect to be pretty, evident if you had someone in that situation where they are very much being threatened, right?
Mm-hmm. And they would still show fear, but courage is not the absence of fear.
It's acting in spite of fear. Exactly. Whereas this was probably more of the absence of fear and concern, definitely, right? Because he wanted to make sure Murano was safe and everything, but for his own safety, next
not
to
as much.
Yeah.
And that's maybe something on the more metaphysical level we could get into if we wanted to, but I mentioned also in the last episode, I feel like the last episode's discussion was almost like perfect for setting up what they did in this episode. Like you called the parents being like dead.
Oh, yeah, but that's...
I was saying how eyes are the windows to the soul.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah.
And she saw something in the visual medium of anime that was like these little red dots or something like that.
Right, that was more than just you're different. Because there's when you see someone that you've known for a long time and then you're like, you're different. And then there's when you see someone that you've never really met before and you're like, you're different. That's a whole different thing. Said different a lot there.
And then there was also the eye getting that bloodshot, like tense kind of tendrils.
Right, well, it almost looked like it was one of Migi's eyes for a second. Like it was.
Okay, but yeah, I didn't see that.
Maybe it was just the fact that it was so widely open, because like usually when you have an eyeball, you're not seeing much of the actual eyeball at any given time.
Right. Sure.
Whereas with Migi, it's like double eyelids. Stuff. But, yeah.
So.
Great episode, though.
Yeah, good episode. I feel like they had the two stories a bit disconnected, so
that could just be manga chapters and things like that.
For sure. I would love to know, though, how, if anything, they're going to start connecting things a little bit, because it seems like when they do the combat kind of encounters and stuff, they are a little bit disconnected with the thematic things that they've been setting up. So maybe I'm misreading this a little bit, but I think that this one is setting up its own thematic thing with regards to Shinichi changing, breaking, losing little aspects of him that make him human. And if anything, that's slightly connected to the whole thing of people noticing changes in him, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, because even if it's not a physiological thing, just psychologically, the fact that he's been having very, very abnormal experiences for a human, that will change him as a person. Yeah. Right?
Because we are just the sum total of our experiences.
Yeah, and people will be able to notice that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, in the same way in that the mom walks in dead inside because it's not the mom, it's the parasite. Shinichi going to school tomorrow after killing the, effigy of his mom, and, there was actually a parasite. Even you think he's going to come out there and be able to smile and be able to...
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. Well, and he probably and after his first encounter with a parasite, like an enemy parasite, he probably carried himself rather differently. We saw that he wasn't afraid of like the bugs anymore, for instance, right?
Oh,
so like that's just another example where because of his experiences that causes him to change. How much of that is the parasite versus how much of that is just him? Who's to say?
Oh, yeah. Remember earlier when we were talking about how, as a protagonist, he's kind of simple? Earlier on? I think the reason for that is because they want to take him through the ringer and have him actually change dramatically to the point where the contrast with him in the beginning is so much so.
And I gotta say, with what they did with his mom, because here's the thing, the whole thing of his mom dying, it's very hard for me to actually get emotionally invested in that, because even though the backstory with that and everything is great. It's still the thing of like, okay, and this is where the parents die, right?
Yeah, it was kind of, you were right to predict it. So
but
easily,
here's the thing. They did an absolutely fantastic job with showing how Shinichi responded to it. That was very, very human. The whole fact that he had the knife and originally, defending himself, and then he's like, no, I'm going to cut you off, Migi, if you keep talking, because I really don't like this right now, and I'm an emotional creature, because humans are emotional creatures.
Just
exactly.
freaking out.
Right,
yeah.
and even though it's the logical thing to say that thing is a threat to my existence and that it needs to be stopped, I can't.
Yeah.
Right?
He would probably rather just die than live in this world where this is happened.
that is great, good stuff that makes it so that even though I wasn't like expecting to really care about the fact that the mom was dead, even though I still care that the mom died, but that makes it actually be so much more real. Whereas if it was just like, oh no, how could this happen? And then it's over, like that'd be like, yep, okay, just a token parents killing, whereas here, no, this is going to have long-lasting psychological implications
for the entire show.
Yep.
Unless he does end up becoming a cold, unfeeling
which again
monster.
Is still implications. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we are.
Indeed.
Here we are, and we've basically got through the origin story.
And Migi could still find out
Somewhat.
that relocation is possible, which again, then it brings up whole new questions about Migi and what they're going to do. Yeah. Oh,
I'm calling it, though. Kana's going to come in, reinforcements, and that's going to be the...
I don't think so, because she's already done that once.
Wait, though.
What?
Crazy thought. He will relocate with Migi.
How would that even happen?
Dumbest theory ever.
How the hell would that even
I don't know. I just Jacob, he should be dead.
No, you can get stabbed and be totally fine as long as you get medical assistance.
He was stabbed right here.
No, it's hey, when have anime ever been like detailed with blood loss and organ location? Like let's be real.
Yeah, and this is a 2-dimensional show.
And also
depth perception could be off, Jacob.
Yeah, and also Migi could potentially, with acute knowledge of how his body works, could theoretically do some kind of crazy
jostling
surgery
of the
or something.
organs. Maybe maybe he was like, ah! And he reached up through the body, grabbed the heart, moved it, and tugged it a little bit.
No, I wasn't gonna say that. No.
I'm thinking of just weird dumb stuff.
I was gonna say Migi basically gets a blade or something and figures out how to just cauterize it. Stop the blood loss and everything. And
they kill the mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Goes up online, looks up how to do this whole thing.
And it's just okay, cool. There's a knife, and, takes the knife that Shinichi had.
And does a really crappy surgery on
Right.
it,
But
really
basically
quickly.
something that's enough for not surgery, but basically what a medic would do in the field when someone's been shot.
Right, sure. Okay.
And then they get them to the hospital, and then they're like, wow, you did this yourself? That's so impressive. And he's just like, yeah, what?
Or he could be like, there was someone that did it. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, because he might be unconscious by that time from blood loss or whatever, and then Migi's just like, well, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably when he wakes up, he'll hate that I killed his not mom, but all right, it's just how it has to go.
That could be great. We don't know exactly what happens. Migi just goes, I had to save you.
Right, and then it's, again, a thing of, Migi being like, well, our fates are linked. It's it's the whole thing of, I care about you, even if I don't care about you in a altruistic way.
Yeah. The other problem is that on a sense of cleanup, if the mom is killed in the house and the dad is gone elsewhere, even if the dad survives, they're going to think that the dad killed them. But if they find the dad's body out there somewhere and the kid is still alive...
But if the kid's been stabbed, that could be basically the alibi, is that I don't know
mom stabbed.
Or I don't know what happened, but there was a mincemeat murder that happened. I was caught in the middle of it. I was lucky enough to survive, but my mom didn't.
Sure.
Because Migi will dispatch of the mom the same way that that the other people get dispatched.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the end of that episode. And
Here
we've
we
got just whatever comes next. So,
Yep.
y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion.
boy.
If you want to see the next episode's reaction discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there.
Yes.
And all this comes with Discord access. So you can chat with us about these stories, about anime in general. You can get in our Discord and be involved in community events there.
Yep.
And you can also talk with Jacob about his awesome sci-fi novel.
Indeed, my passion project, Battle Lines, sci-fi novel, is available for purchase still on Amazon. Link in the description. Go check it out.
Yeah, I've read it. It's legit, guys. Go check it out. So if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.